Everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn. I'm with the fantastic Dale Bigeni, and we would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming from today, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Dale, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just ready for another stream and excited to be here again. Thank you.
Living the freelance life. Like 5 minutes before we're live, Dale's like, man, I got to get these emails done quickly.
Yeah,
It's the life of a freelancer. That's how it is. I love it.
I think I was still looking down when the camera came on. Sorry, that was a bit awkward.
Mate, you got to double it up.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me know if the music is too loud or anything like that, guys. If you're watching over on Twitter or you're watching over on YouTube, the live chat that we're using is here on Behance, so behance.net/live. I can see Manny is in here, Ariha is in here as well, Johanna looking after us. Jump on over there, let us know how you going, how you feeling today. This is part one of a two-part stream. We're going to be here today, which is Tuesday in Australia, and Thursday, so we'll be doing part one. If you're watching the replay or anything like that, we might have already done part two, and you can check it out after this and kind of check out the process. But we've been chatting about what we would do. This is the first time you've been on this year. It's crazy how quick this year is going. And we were chatting about like creating a mascot, and then now the Olympics are happening and all that sort of stuff. So let's do it.
The big combination. Yeah, that's it. I wasn't sure. I wasn't really like, with mascots, it can be literally anything, right? Like you could do it anything in the world, a pen, a dog, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So it's always like a little bit like, I think everything's been done at some point, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to focus on the Olympics, though, I think, because it's happening now, right? Like it's still going.
Yeah.
We're living in the moment. So, I guess we can jump straight into it and get into it, or we can talk about
Let's talk about you for a little bit. Could you, just for those who might not be familiar with you, because actually I checked it out and I was like, I haven't had you on since August, so it's been a really long time.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Long time. Actually, this is what we made.
Oh yeah.
Finally got it printed. This is our last stream. Whoop.
Upside down. Yeah.
Upside down. Do you remember that blackboard? So that's,
yeah, I do.
Actually,
it's so sick.
Actually printed artwork.
I'm pretty impressed, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed because on that stream we finished it with a mouse, and it was the most awkward stream of my life. But we got there, and there's the fruits of our labor, which I think we did a pretty good job.
Man, it's awesome. And that was really fun because I made the brand, or basically the lettering and everything, and then Dale picked up from that brand and then illustrated around it and made it about 50,000 times better, and it was just tons of fun.
Maybe we should get a photo up online, Flynn. I'll have to post one up for everyone to see the finished product. Yeah, definitely. But that's basically what I do, right? I do digital art, and I do it for a living, and I've been doing it for a long time. Primarily, it started off doing digital, like skull work and a lot around the punk, culture. And now it's evolved. It used to be a lot of black and white, but now I'm doing a lot more like fun projects with color and less and less skulls, believe it or not, which is if you jump on my Instagram or my website, you can see some of my older stuff if you go for a bit of a peruse through there. But I'm a digital artist, and I create for brands both big and small, and it is 100% digital today. It's I don't use pencil and paper anymore. Like I just don't have the need for it. And when I go on holidays or I go away, I don't work. I just enjoy the moment, and I keep it all here on this Wacom. So it's not a bad gig. It's fun.
Not a bad gig.
It's pretty good.
That's awesome. Well, hey to new people in the chat as well. Hey, Nick's there as well. From Mexico. That's cool. Watching from Mexico. That's lovely. Great to have you hanging out with us. Always fun to hear where everyone's from. So let us know in chat. Without further ado, there's been a bit of ado, so let's jump in. We'll share your screen.
Awesome.
This is. Was this like this original one? Was this like? This looks a bit like Dale to me. This is like fun cartoon Dale.
This is definitely like, it was supposed to resemble me. He's got like those tired bags under his eyes, so it's definitely me. I feel like that's my. It's art and a lack of sleep at the moment. But that little guy was someone I created for. I wanted just like a little I guess you call it like a shop shirt for myself to wear around, and shameless self promotion. But yeah, he's kind of cool. He's doing all the right jobs as a mascot, showing what I do and kind of like my vibe. But yeah, this is it. This is basically the run through of how I get to, I guess, a mascot of any sort. So I shall jump straight into it.
Nice.
All right. So I think it's important to talk about this references and like setting yourself up for like the project from the start, like, you know, researching like older cartoons, older mascots, other artist styles and things like that. I'm not saying reference it to copy them in any way, but it's nice, like, for people that don't do this professionally or just want to create something cool. Like, there's tons of resources on the internet that you can just, you know, these are all off Pinterest. I haven't got credit to anyone, but these are all not my artworks. These are a series of other people's artworks, but I'm just looking at like different kinds of like I guess poses and hands and feet movement and things like that. How sporting mascots look versus, like, you know, something fun like the coffee. Like, there's really no right or wrong, if you ask me. I think it's the beauty of the mascot is it's just supposed to feel fun. So yeah, like it pays to have some references that you can kind of call on cues from. The hands and feet are pretty important in the mascot because, like I said, you can draw a circle and just chuck some hands and legs and it's a mascot straight away. But I think it's nice to know like how body forms work and things like that. So if you can't draw bodies or you struggle with that stuff, tons of resources online to practice with, and then you develop your own style over time, right? Like anything else. So this is some just like mood board reference for like things I like. Like, I really like Felix the cat. I think
Felix is so cool.
He's just got like he's such a happy guy. Like, he looks like his movement is very natural and things like that. But then I've got some like, you know, Tokyo Olympics mascots just to see how it differs in style, I guess. But yeah, I highly recommend having references if you're not completely comfortable, but there is resources both free, and I know there's a bunch of artists that actually sell like hands and feet as like, I guess, objects that you can just drop on. But I can share a link on that on my Insta, or we can get Johanna to put it in there at the end. But yeah, references, super important. I guess context of work is also super important, like doing some research before you kind of dive straight into it head first. We're talking about Winter Olympics at the moment, Beijing 2022. Flynn and I both agree that we both just like snowboarding, so we're just going to choose the sport. We're not going to let anyone take that from executive decision. Scotty James, half pipe silver medalist, so that's big ups to him. I guess on a international level, that's a big deal, and these guys, that's what they work towards their whole lives, so good on him. I think like a little koala would be cool. Maybe we can get, you know, the koala ears in there, or maybe you can still have the helmet on and the goggles, but have that koala, I guess, elements in there. And yeah, so I'm looking for context. Like, I'm looking for like, I guess, what are the colors that are going to be used and things like that. Where, like, what's the situation of the mascot? So this is our, I guess, the mood board for context alone. And I guess, yeah, like for color cues and things like that, you can see it's quite, you know, the green. I've never been a fan of the Aussie green that they use. It always looks a bit dull, but yeah, we'll work with it. We can work with it.
Doesn't super pop, does it? And it's quite interesting, like even just having this separate context thing, separating it like from reference or anything as well. Like, you start to think, okay, yeah, so what makes it Winter Olympics? Like, you got to kind of show that it's a bit cold. Like, maybe there's gloves that could go in there. Or, you know, if it's snowboard, but you don't have room for the board, like maybe there's one where there's boots in there. Or
or like the goggles.
Vest, the goggles, the vest. And koala, you know, ears are almost earmuffs already, you know. So the ball starts rolling a little bit from there.
It is still, I guess, reference per se, but I guess it's like the context of where it's going to live is Winter Olympics. Like, we're separating it from Felix the cat, I guess. Like, you know, it's that's more for just like how do they work. But yeah, and then I've got like just a bunch of like styles or examples of like just a handful of little mascots that I've done, like just either personal or for like for fun or for clients. And you can see like you can go a lot of detail. Like this is Ronnie the rat. He's like a bit of a hood rat, the skater. And then there's Reggie the sunflower down here. Like for some reason, they've always got an attitude. They've always got a knife or something. I don't think we have to use a knife in this one, but yeah, like
not unless it's a figure skating. Anyway, that's a bad reference. And the love heart up the top. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, for yesterday. So,
oh yeah. The old Black Hearts Club mascot up there. He's showing some love. I like to differ. Like I tend to explore different avenues for these logos all the time. Like I see things online that I like, and I just like, I want to try that. I want to try this. So they are quite different across the board, but they still share the same, I guess, process, which is like, what's our figure. So I've got the globe. This was for Happy New Year down the bottom there. Like, just put the planet. He's got his party hat on. Happy New Year. It feels like it's the world celebrating. Hands and legs doing the traditional walk pose, I guess, like that they all seem to be doing. And yeah, it's just like it's a nice to look across the board and see that like a mascot, as far as I'm concerned, like the rat is as much a mascot for something as the little skull guy with the love heart, like, but their level of detail is completely different. So yeah, we're just I think we'll just have a play with some of these references and stuff that we've got here, and we might just come up with a little bit of a snowboarding mascot, I guess, or like a Olympic. We won't call him an Olympic mascot. We'll just call him snowboarding, Aussie snowboard mascot.
Nice. Well, that sounds great. We got 2 questions from what we've shown already. Reference is key. Where do you usually get your references from?
Like I said, mostly like I'll do a Pinterest search, or if I know there's an artist that's very good at that particular, like, I guess, artwork that I want to create.
Yeah.
This is a hard one because I don't want to say it's called it's copying his artwork or her artwork, sorry. But like I'll find that person and I'll see the way they use their hand, like the movement and things like that, and try to pull it into my own artwork. I think you need to stay away from the trap that is copying completely, because there is like a fine line, I guess, where it is like, okay, well, I can use, let's say, if we let's use this as actually a conversational piece. Let's use Felix as our kind of our reference. So if I was going to use something like Felix here as my reference, so he's there, I can go in there and you can do a full trace, right? So we can go in there and like trace that line for line with a color that everyone can see. What's going on here? Here we go. Sorry.
No, you're right. And we got a couple of questions in chat. So just if you have a question, let us know in chat, and we'll get to it as we're rolling along. That's a good thing about being live. There's no silly questions. Just ask away, and we'll help you while we're here.
Yeah. So the whole reference versus, I guess, like original art and copying and all that. It's a huge conversation that I guess gets thrown around a lot. Because there is, if you go line for line over Felix here, you are basically just copying him, right? It goes without saying, if I use his little lips like that, everything, then I've fully copied the artwork. I do, however, think like there is a way that like you can utilize this picture, and I think we can use Felix as a good starting point. We're going to talk about this in full disclosure with references in mind, that this logo I'm going to compose him using Felix as my base. So in case I can't, in case I have never drawn a mascot before, or I have troubles picturing like those body poses and things like that, because the anatomy is quite like, it's complicated to draw. Not everyone's as comfortable as the next person, but I know that I can go in and I can just draw these block shapes in here, and I know that like his legs doing something like this. So I guess it's like getting a almost like a stickman version, and I can have his arm like that, or I know that an arm has a joint in it, I can put his arm here instead. You know, he could be, instead of having a fist, he could have the snowboard in his hand and he's like holding that. He could have a knife. He definitely would have he could have a knife over here, who knows? He's trying to take out the competition. It's all good. But yeah, so I don't think I'm copying Felix in any way, but I'm using his, I guess, wireframe. I'm going to use that as like a wireframe, and this is going to be the head, however big that head is. So now I can see I've got like a little pose there. Okay, he still looks... let's take that knife out, Flynn. See what you've done to me. Maybe that's not very sportsmanlike. No. All right, Aussies, we play. Yeah, we play. You know, we play by the rules. We're not that shady. All right, so I've got my little wireframe, and
so this, like, you know, just to jump in there, like this like really helps you out with the structure. As you said, if you're not like comfortable, this is like a style you haven't drawn before, or you know, you want it to be kind of cutesy. So they're a lot, you know, it's much more shrunken down than like drawing human anatomy, and you can get the kind of size and the base right. And I guess you could just copy that wireframe and make like 8 of them and just start drawing over the top and see what works. And
exactly. And I think that goes back to this part where it's like, you know, this mascot here of the rat, I'll go back to him. He's quite like, he's got human like limbs there, because I was copying off originally it was a skate photo that I found of a skater doing whatever the trick was at the time, but I've still like exaggerated the feet to be a bit bigger. I've got his head to be much bigger, like the body's been shortened. So I've used that like overall structure, but there's in no way is this the same as the photo that, like, because obviously rats don't wear gold chains and skate. We know that. I've not seen one, so call me crazy. But yeah, so I think you can exaggerate certain parts, like the hands are usually bigger, the heads are usually bigger, the feet are usually oversized, but it's also like it's up to your discretion, I guess. Like the heart has quite little feet, but he's got really big hands. But yeah, you're right, it's usually got more of a cutesy look, and I think Felix is probably I guess, like in my opinion, like he ticks all the right boxes for what a mascot is about, like energy and like the way he stands and his poses and things like that. So we're going to use him as our little guide, I guess. But like you said, Flynn, so I've got this little working layer of the sketch there, and I could just keep working on that pose now. Let's just say that that's our pose. So I'm just using standard brushes. There's nothing fancy here. It's just straight standard brushes. But I might just go in with another color so we can build up some layers.
And Nick's in chat says, such a great way to show how you can use a base character as reference and still make it your own.
Yeah, I think it's important to try to achieve as well. And like I said, some people are more comfortable with, I guess, drawing these characters, I guess, off the top of their head, like they do it all the time, like that's their bread and butter, you know. But not everyone's as proficient at drawing as everyone else. Like I guess you gotta, I don't know, I'm giving you options here. This is not the right or wrong way. This is the Dale way.
I like the Dale way. And our buddy Jeremy Lord in chat. Hello, Jeremy. I hope you had a lovely break. I know you had a trip. Looked very relaxing. He says, buttering knife. Yeah, we'll keep the knives out of it, I think. But Jeremy did ask a question earlier that I missed, which was, what would you say the difference is between reference and inspiration? We kind of covered it, but if you had anything else to add in there, the difference between reference and inspiration.
Reference and inspiration. I think reference, like you can... reference to me is something that like you'd actually use in the artwork. So like I used Felix's, like, I guess, wireframe under there. I would call that a reference. And inspiration, I guess inspiration, it's stuff that I'd look at and, you know, I guess I'd be inspired by it like daily anyway. Like it's not so much, I guess, always art related for me either. Like inspiration in art, I guess, is just watching people create. That is what inspires me. Inspires me to go and do. Where I guess reference for me is like, feels like it's something like that I physically use in my art. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So like, yeah.
It sounds like it makes sense to me, and really, that's all that matters. It sounds good.
Well, I'll do what I always do, which is like Flynn, dumb it down so that I understand it and say it back. Like to me, you know, like inspiration you can get from anything. You could be listening to music, or you know, you could be having a shower or taking a break, and you know, things can kind of hit you from like the back of your head and things like that. Or you can go out looking for inspiration. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, in the field, like by browsing past Mascot logos, it could really come from anywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's important to like find inspiration and put it into your art. Where you're referencing something directly to create, I guess. And I think that's probably the easiest way to differentiate, right?
Yeah, that's right. So red. If I'm seeing that correctly.
It's red.
Red lines. Do you always do red lines for your like?
I'm just trying to
pick a color.
I just pick a color. I know a lot of people do the blue and the red and then the black. I just like I think I just need a color that like is strong enough for me to see it.
Yeah.
While I'm doing this part. So I'm just quickly roughing in this. Obviously, like all the shapes are going to change. This is going to be the very much conceptual drawing. And I definitely think he's got to have the big ears.
Nice.
And I think he's going to have these goggles on. And probably the helmet. How's the helmet action work? So I'm going to go back to my little reference here. I mean, he could have either a beanie or a helmet, but I feel like the helmet's kind of cool.
Yeah, they seem to wear the helmet when they're like participating, right?
Yeah.
When they're doing the thing.
The beanie, he might not look like much of a player. He's just going to look like a guy that's cold.
Looks like a spectator. Yeah.
Oh,
running off with a stolen snowboard.
So I probably would, for reference, like I'm going to still look at I would probably still look at like how you know, the goggles would, I guess, like the colors in the goggles and stuff like that. But we're just going to get this together so we've got a bit of something to go towards for Thursday, because this is definitely going to be a work in progress.
Yeah. 2-day thing. I always find this hard, like with like a mascot, like, or amorphic kind of characters. Once you start adding, actually, we've had this conversation with Jeremy before in previous.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you got goggles, but like our goggles just go straight back, right? But then you've got the koala has its ears up here.
Big ears. Yeah. You just gotta fake it, right? Like you just have to make it look as, I guess, not silly as possible. That's all there is to it, really.
Yeah. Couple of new folks in the stream. Michael, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Gareth, it's lovely to see you both. Thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, if you got any questions, comments, I'd be interested to know, I got a question for you, Dale, like what your first mascot that you had to do was. I think mine was probably something like in design school, and we had to design, you know, some more of an exercise style thing. But I haven't drawn a lot, like definitely not professionally. I don't think I've ever had to create a mascot. And also, if anyone in chat has ever created a mascot that you've published either on Instagram or for a client or something like that, I'm really interested in like the world of like professional mascot creation.
Yeah, I guess I don't know that I've ever really, because I guess like some people use mascots like I guess you could call like a logo as well. Like if you've ever done a logo, I've done a few like where it's like I did one that was like a look. Well, I guess I can compare it to Chicago Bulls. It was like a bull. It was for a brisket truck, and it was like it became the icon, but it felt like a mascot at the same time, right? Like it
Right.
felt like it was created as a logo, but it turned into a bit of a mascot. So I think it's one of those things. I couldn't tell you that I've got one like stand out like first, but I've done a fair few that kind of like become a mascot where it was a part of the icon or the logo, and then it's been pulled out and become a bit of a standalone graphic, which is, I think that's, again, I do that with a lot of my art. I think we spoke about that a fair bit as well, that I like to break out these elements of my art to, be able to be multiple use, I guess, graphics. So yeah, I don't know that I can. My first one, maybe it was in my TAFE days where it was probably some rubbish like light bulb with turn a light bulb into a mascot kind of thing, or I'm not sure actually. I'm gonna have to have a think about that one.
Dig it up. It's always hard to go back that far and look at work though. You're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's a bit disheartening actually. All right, so I'm just drawing in some rough. I just accidentally went on the wrong layer, so I'm copying this onto my drawing layer. Yeah, so I'm just like trying to get like everything in place. Like obviously you need to take your time, and we are running on like shorter time here, but I think we can get something drawn in here to have a look at for Thursday.
Nice. Johanna is saying, I follow 1 or 2 accounts on TikTok that are professional mascot makers. It's fascinating work.
This is what I mean, like a professional mascot maker just sounds fun.
Yeah. Drop those in chat. Drop the links there, Johanna. I'd love to see them. I'm going to have to get TikTok one of these days, aren't I? There's so many people going on there.
Don't do it, Flynn. Actually,
it seems to leak out of TikTok like a lot of the times. Like I see like tons of TikTok stuff like on Reddit or like cross-posted to Instagram and stuff. I feel like I see enough already. Can you imagine if I got an account, checked it out? What about you guys? Does anyone have like a TikTok account other than Johanna? She obviously has one. And what do you use it for? Like professional and stuff? Like, because a lot of what I see, it's like people trying to be funny or dancing to...
That's what I thought it was all about, really, just dancing, to be honest. But who am I? Who am I to know?
Yeah, I'm not judging. To each their own. Just may not be for me. That's all. But if there's like cool design stuff going on there in that format, maybe I have to check it out, Dale. Teach this old trick.
Or you could just get on the dance train. You know, you might find yourself really enjoying it.
No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. Jeremy Lord says, "Stay away."
Wait, stay away from the dancing because he's got it covered.
Dancing for sure. He's probably seen me dance. But no, I think he's saying TikTok. Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Like, so Jeremy, you guys professional designers and independent and stuff like that. You have to decide like where you're going to invest your time. Like, it's, I remember when it was an issue when there was like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, there's 3 things." Now now I feel like there's like 20 different things, and if you posted there all the time, you wouldn't have time to do anything else.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like I don't know what's more important anymore. Like I just go with everything is just as equally as important. So, except I just got Twitter and I'm only new to it, and I was kind of not forced there, but like the whole NFT thing kind of pushed me into the Twitterverse, and I got there, and I don't know, I'm dealing with anxiety issues trying to keep up with how to use the thing and what purpose it does, and is it propelling my business further or is it making it worse? But I just keep my head down, just keep drawing. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, but I guess that's my point. Like if you want to spend most of your time drawing, there's like an X amount of time kind of spent like working to like nurture and grow and learn the algorithms, and I don't know, I get a bit tired just thinking about it.
Oh, algorithms. Why is that even a thing?
Johanna says, I just post videos of clouds on my account. Well, that sounds lovely.
Clouds? Like with music? Is there music?
There's like always music, right, with TikTok? Just like chuck in a jam, make it pop.
All right, so now we've got this little guy. We know he's a koala. We know he's gone snowboarding or been snowboarding. There's obviously going to be all the details of the snowboard that have to come in here as well. And yeah, it is very it's very rough. It's very like, it's at this point you just want to, I guess, kind of get like the right direction and right, I guess, the right elements in there. I think he definitely needs the helmet. Like he needs to get rid of, I keep clicking on the wrong layer. Sorry. It's very unprofessional. So I just keep chucking it back on the right layer. All right. And yeah, so you can see his little, like he's got this little walk happening. It's still using that. Like I said, we've used Felix as a bit of our starting point, but then you're going to start taking like your own, making your own little changes. I think this guy's helmet probably should be a bit bigger. Like maybe just to like give it some of that more, a more animated feel. I literally did this 3 times, did it on the wrong layer. This guy's got to go. There you go. All right. And his ears are going to pop out somewhere here. And like you were saying, well, how often do we see koalas in helmets? What's the right or wrong amount of ear to be shown or not shown? Yeah, so I just want to get all the parts in that, you know, all the key parts. I know he's gonna have his goggles, he's gonna have his helmet. Maybe the straps can be like loose because he's not competing. Maybe he's got like the mittens on and not. Oh no, what happened there? Maybe he's got mittens on, so we're not gonna have to worry about all the fingers. We can just leave it as like a, you know, one singular piece of clothing there. Maybe bring this down, and we know he's going to have a little vest on. Yeah, so I'm just trying to so you can see it's still very much in the same vein as where I've taken that reference from, but you're making it your own straight away by having he's holding his snowboard, he's got his helmet, the glasses. And if I overlay the two, obviously now you can see that that's kind of where he came from. And
yeah, but it's totally different. If you saw it without Felix there, you know, you didn't watch the stream and you saw that, you would never be like, oh, that's a copy of Felix. Like you would never imagine it having.
And I think that's the important part, is that you've invested the time in to make it your own. It's you know, there's 100 ways to do it, but yeah, I think it's kind of cool to, if you are struggling, because I know people watch these streams and they haven't been doing it like the last 15 years. They don't know, you know, maybe they're just learning today. And if this is a quick way to have some fun practicing some mascots, then grab a reference photo and use it. Otherwise, you can go in and start, you know, the old stick figure thing where, you know, you start looking at all those body forms like this reference. You know, just practice doing body forms and things like that, you know, just to challenge yourself and figure out what works and what doesn't work. But yes, you can then use these references if you still don't feel comfortable drawing hands, which I know a lot of people don't. I still struggle.
Yeah.
But you can
notoriously the hardest to do.
And I think there's a way to use them again. You can change that to you can have maybe you wanted him waving. That's not the hand I want, but I could just do this, chuck it in, and I know he's got his snowboard at the moment, but if I want another option to send to the client before I'm ready to go and start finishing it off, maybe I just want him waving. Now I'm using that, and then I'll just, again, I know he's got mittens on, so I can change it to it's a little, I like the hand structure, and I can just go in and go put a little mitten on him, put his jacket back on.
His jacket back on.
And it's like you're just using these things to help you create another dynamic, right? Like it doesn't matter how you do it. If I guess as long as you're using them, I guess tastefully and thoughtfully, you're not going in just to rip someone's artwork to pieces and claim it as your own. I think there's a way to use things like this, to your advantage. But we've got our guy. He's carrying his snowboard. He's got his. Actually, you know what? I think he needs a medal on him.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, Johanna mentioned that in chat as well. Maybe a shiny gold medal.
Well, he got a silver, but we can.
He got a silver. That's right. Yeah. No,
but it's all right. We can.
Original reference. Looks like Flavor Flav.
You gotta accentuate these things. That's a number 2, all right. There, he's no. Second place is still a good place to be, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see there's our little stick figure, a little bit of a build up. Obviously, it's very rough still, but you can see that from using that reference to your own little skeleton to a bit of a more built up character, then you can start going in, I guess, as per, I guess, most of our conversations go, just building upon layers, I guess. So I'd dial this one back again. Let's get rid of Felix now. We don't need him.
See you, Felix. Thanks for the help.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Felix who?
Richard asks in chat, can you make his feet bigger? Funny big? So I guess that's another question. You certainly don't have to, but I was just brings up the question of balancing the cartoony aspect and can you go too far, and how you do that. It's a bit of trial and error in there, or?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of trial and error, but again, it's you could go big, and I would just do just keep going until it feels, I guess right. You could definitely go big, stupid big, silly big. Can you
just talk us through what you just did then? You did a couple of cool little things very, very quickly.
Oh, okay. All right. So instead of I guess creating another layer like I should, I was being cheeky.
I like the cheeky.
So let's do
this is great, especially the sketching phase. It's cool to see these tips.
Yeah. Well, I just think sometimes at this point, I'm not too passionate about these lines anyway. I'm not attached to them. They could leave me and I wouldn't cry. So I'm just going to grab the lasso tool.
Yeah.
So I just select the foot there, and as Richard requested, I'm just free transform. So Command T, and I just pull. However, I might go a bit stupid here, but there's his foot at a new scale, but it's kind of it feels a little bit funny. So I go into warp, which is you right click on the box and just go hit the warp tool, and then I'll just go in and play with these little.
Nice.
And then you can just warp it into wherever. It is quite a handy tool. I use it a lot with the typography and stuff to I guess get good shapes and stuff. But yeah, you can do it that way, or you could have just redrawn the foot, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's great because your instincts would probably be especially people starting out, or things like that would be, I need to just quickly erase that and I need to draw it again. But sometimes it might be really hard to get that right angle, and you find yourself doing it over and over and over again. It's just not looking right.
I don't know. And the warp tool is kind of cool because you can experiment a little bit. you know, it's not perfect, and at this point, like I said, it's not meant to be. I guess we're still like developing, so like you can do whatever you want. I don't know, Richard, are these big enough? Like,
I don't think they could get much
Richard,
bigger.
yeah, I mean, he's now got monstrous feet.
Might have, yeah, like a lot bigger than the snowboard that the feet
Yeah.
are going to strap into.
Like, how big's the snowboard thing gonna be now?
Yeah, that's the
He's
thing. As
just
Johanna
skipping.
said in chat, like love to be a little scrappy and messy in the sketch phase. You can always clean it up later.
Oh, look, stay tuned. I'm sure on my Instagram I'll post up a bit of the refined work, and on Thursday I can share just how we get to that point. But for now, we're going to do a little bit of a start on that refined kind of part. So obviously, I'm just turning that opacity of that layer down. I can get rid of our little stick man.
Yeah, another tip from Jeremy in chat as well is using liquify. Jeremy says, I like
Ooh.
how it's selection base as opposed to liquify, which is what I usually use. Which, yeah,
That's the whole artwork,
that does
right?
the whole. That's the whole artwork. So he's saying it's really cool how you can just focus on one particular selection in the method you showed.
And I think the liquify is probably a good thing once you've got it to an like you're quite happy with those rough lines. I know the liquify has a few other features in it that are a bit more advanced than just the warp tools, I guess, warp component. But yeah, there's lots of super cool tools now. It's come a very long way. Alright, I'm gonna just, so all I'll do, this is the same brush again. Like I said, I do have a bunch of brushes down here that I use for certain things, but a lot of the time it is that hard round pressure size, and just the combination of that brush and the Wacom combined, it's like the perfect thing for me. So that's what I use.
Use it for sketching and the line work as well, like both?
Yeah, yep. I kind of use it for everything, to be honest. I just think it's a nice brush. Like it goes down nice, and you can play with the flow and the smoothing and stuff. But yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But again, this one's probably still, I would still say at this point it's still fairly rough. Like I'm still not trying to get it perfect. I just want to get rid of some of these lines, like the really scrappy ones. But and maybe his hand actually needed to be a bit bigger.
Well, now the feet are so big.
Yeah, that Richard.
Richard.
What a troublemaker.
End up in like a vicious cycle of what have I made the feet bigger and I got to make the snowball bigger. Made the snowball bigger, I got to make the hands bigger.
No, his head's too small.
His head's too small. Just scale everything up. We've got about, believe it or not, a little over 10 minutes to go. And of course, we're going to continue on. We're going to pick up where we leave off. So it's all good in the hood wherever we end up. Do you ever do we have a name for this mascot?
Look, I reckon that's definitely a chat job.
That's a chat question.
Yeah, the chat guys are pretty good at these names.
All right. If anyone has a suggestion for our koala snowboard mascot, throw them in chat.
And it can't be Scotty.
Can't be Scotty. Which is the basis, Australian snowboarder who got the silver medal, who is somewhat of an inspiration for today. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Koala.
Like Keith's a pretty good name if you're thinking Keithy the koala.
It's Oka Az. I love it, Keithy the koala. But yeah, sure you guys can come up with something. Just going mind blank. I usually come up with one or two on stream, but Too much pressure. Segueing over to more of a practical question, Jeremy Lord, do you ever make your own brushes? We talked about brushes before. Do you ever make them?
No. I'm just going to put it right out there. I don't think I've had a proper look at how hard or easy it is. I think I find the luxury of, I guess, like guys in the game that have made it so easy for everybody. And now that like Kyle put such a good collection, like for you to access standard, basically, it's almost, I don't know. I feel like I have no need to do it. But then I think of like creating my own brushes in Illustrator and my own typography, like font, like lettering and stuff, and it all seems like it's a bit of a task. And I see guys work on them for a while, but nah, I definitely haven't made any personally. But there's definitely a heap out there, a heap of guys doing it now.
Got to get through all the Carl T. Webster brushes first. He brings out a pack every season, it seems, at the moment. I haven't busted out, I think, the last 2 seasons even just to have a play around. So
to be honest, I think I'm still just using that mega pack because it's so mega.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot in there. Yeah,
it's actually like it's here somewhere. Yeah, mega pack. It's just got everything, right? It's got like that goes forever. Like, yeah, nah. I like, my art's usually not very it doesn't really require a lot of different brushes, I guess. It is quite clean, everything that I do. So it's like this brush just seems to do the job.
Yeah. I often hear that, like often hear, and maybe chat, you can let us know. We've got some great names for the koala, which I'll throw in a second.
Excellent.
Is a lot of people we seem to have on Adobe Live seem to kind of like gravitate towards 1 or 2 brushes anyway, like at one point, very similar to what you've just sort of said. And even though there are certain occasions where you might want a texture brush or, for whatever reason, but they're sort of few and far between from like actually drawing, getting the right sensitivity and getting used to like 1 or 2 brushes seems to be the advice. So if you were giving advice to people out there that want to improve, would that be, stick to 1 or 2 brushes? I
think sticking to 1 or 2 makes it less complicated for you. I think because if you start trialing all these brushes, I think you can get carried away and then like lose sight of what exactly you were after. And then it just becomes like, oh, well, that brush looks sick because it looks like graffiti, or like, and it's like, yeah, but that project really need that. Like, I think, and it's, I think as someone starting using Photoshop, it's probably really exciting to see the mass amounts of brushes, but you soon learn that, there's a handful that are probably superior opposed to like, I don't know, there's some, like what's in here, like there's not a lot of times that I'm gonna need the splatter brush to be so aggressive or anything, like I might do that later on down the track. I think focusing on what which is pen and pencil for the most part of your drawing career, I think I'd prefer to keep things very clean and simple.
Nice. And what brush are you using again, just a reminder for those that are joining us now?
It's called the hard round pressure size. But if you're using a mouse, it's probably, so if I use a mouse, it works like this. It's just pretty like consistently one thickness the whole way. If I use my tablet, I can get like a pretty big variation. So disclaimer is it works probably better with a tablet, but if you don't have one, you can always cut back on those lines.
It'll take a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a slow process.
We have 5 minutes left and we have a bunch of names for our koala for us to continue on with.
Let me write it down.
Droppy, you don't have to write it down. We'll Johanna's looking after us. We've got the list here. Droppy the Drop Bear.
That's pretty sick.
Keith or Kevin. Kenny the koala. Dakota, which I thought was quite cool. Derek.
Yeah. Derek. Hello, Derek.
Derek's extremely Australian. I love that. Good suggestion there, Gareth. I have a favourite in there, but did any pop out to you?
I like Droppy. I mean,
Droppy was me as well. That was Jeremy.
Droppy sounds.
So that's why I didn't say it was Jeremy's suggestion.
Who was it, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, because Droppy works on 2 levels because he's dropping in to the half pipe as well. So
yeah,
it's something a drop there would be good at.
I feel like that's Let's. Are we talking Droppy like double P?
Yeah.
Alright, this is Droppy, everyone.
Great suggestions, everybody, but Droppy does seem to jump out at me, personally.
There you go, thanks, Mr. Lord. So yeah, I just like basically all I'm going to do is refine this line work and get these, I guess, get some more of the details in, and then I'll head into doing the black line work. But we're going to take this picture on Thursday and we're going to finish it in Illustrator. So as much as I'm doing this in Photoshop, I am going to finish it in Illustrator. It's my preferred finish because I like how clean it is. I like how easy it is for colors to be changed. So we can definitely get Chad on board to, you know, we can be picking colors for snowboards, helmets, visors, everything. So I'll definitely get this refined and have something fun to kind of have a play with on Thursday for sure.
Yeah, sweet. Very cool. And just a reminder to everyone, like anyone that's joined us for sort of the second half here, we'll be back on Thursday. So it's Tuesday here. So we're back in 2 days, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time that is where you're watching in, because I know people watch from all around. I know it's nighttime in the US and it's just morning in Southeast Asia and stuff like that. But same time, we'll be streaming out in 2 days. That's the best way my head can wrap around it.
Yeah.
Always get confused with time zones. And then daylight savings kicks in and then I forget everything. And
then back to square one, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. And don't forget to check out Dale Bigeni's Instagram as well and his work. He's got heaps of work up on his Instagram. We were talking about over the years, Dale's style changing quite a lot. And if you scroll down far enough, you'll find black and white, lots of black and white, lots of skulls, lots of like, tattoo and punk, like
it reigns supreme. Yeah.
It's quite cool. You see that? I see that quite a lot. I will often do that when I'm looking for artists and people that we're working with to kind of scroll down and see, did they like completely take everything down and restart from scratch, or do they have their full history? And I can go all the way down. I love it.
Mine's all there, and mine's to a point where I'm like, I look back on it and go, how hard would it be to just wipe all that? Because this is embarrassing. But also, it's a part of the story, so I'll leave it there. It's all good.
Leave it there. I like it. I think it's really cool.
I'm putting these little straps on him, I think.
Oh yeah, cool. We actually we're pretty much at time, so we might need to leave it there. We'll say our goodbyes. We've kind of done a 5-minute goodbye anyway, but thank you everyone for joining us. We'll say goodbye to Droppy there, and I'll just bring up Dale and myself. Thank you, Dale, hanging out with us. It's always a blast.
You're very welcome.
I'm looking forward to Thursday.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll post up some progress on my Instagram. If you want to follow, you can have a look at some of the lead up to Thursday. But Thursday we're going to go into Illustrator and have some fun with it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the questions and the suggestions. We will see you in 2 more days on Adobe Live.
Awesome. Bye. See ya.